we have tax. For ad-valorem tax, is an indirect tax. And as soon as a tax is charged by government, it is expected that the cost of production for firms increases. Because the cost of production for firms will increase, it will shift the supply curve leftward.
From S1 to
From S1, thank you, from S1 to S2. That is the first thing that will happen. The supply curve has shifted from S1 to S2, which brings about a high equilibrium price and low quantity supplied. So before now, the equilibrium price is at O, the equilibrium price is at OG. But as soon as tax increases, based on the fact that the supply curve has shifted from S1 to S2, the new equilibrium price will be at OF. That is the first part. Do we get it, please? Do we get it or not? Yeah. I need the response. Do we get it or not?
Yes. Yes.
The next thing, the quantity is OB. As soon as there's a shift in leftward in the supply curve, from OB it becomes OA. So that is the point here. Increase the equilibrium price, which we talked about, OF. Then the equilibrium quantity will be from OB to OA. From OB to OA.
So from S1 to S2
will bring about an increase in the price, equilibrium price, from OG to OF. And the quantity will reduce from OB to OA. It's clear, right?
So explain every point.
At every point. Now, what happens to producers? Producers will pay at HG. For producers, because this is the supply curve, they pay at HG. This is what producers will pay. You guys get what I'm doing here?
Yes.
The incidence of tax on producers will be at HG. For consumers, it will be HF. You get it?
So we're paying more.
Yeah, for consumers, they pay more. Okay. Both of them, the combination of what they pay is HG. This is the combination of the tax, HGF. Okay. But for producers, they pay HG. For we consumers, we pay HF. Do you understand the incidence of tax here? Yes. So there's incidence of tax, there's a tax burden. As soon as tax is being imposed by government, consumers pay more, producers pay less. Is it clear? Is it clear, please?
Yes.
Then the next thing, the total paid by consumers will be at GKEF. GKEF is what consumers will pay. We talked about the price. This becomes a tax, and GKEF is the demand curve. This is the demand curve. GKEF is what consumers will pay in terms of their expenditure. Is it clear? Consumer is about the demand. Producer is about the supply curve. So the difference between suppliers, what happens to suppliers and what happens to producers, or suppliers or consumers, is based on the curve, the demand and the supply curve. Are you with me, please? Are you with me, please? Yes. The total tax paid by producer is at GKHG. Talked about it. GKHJ. This is what producers will pay. GKHJ. This is what producers will pay. I think it's clear. Is it clear, please?
Yes, sir.
Then the next point. The total revenue loss through tax by producers will be OBCG minus OAJH. OBCG is what producers are supposed to pay. But now they are paying this, so that's the difference between it. Do you get it or not? Yeah. Producers are supposed to pay OBCG. But now that there's an increase in tax, they have to pay OAJH. OAJH. This is what they're going to pay. Because they pay at GH. OAHJ is what they're going to pay in terms of tax for producers. Consumer pay above it. Then the total amount of government revenue through the government tax through revenue is FHJE. FHJE is the total amount of tax. This is the total amount of tax. And this is what government is going to make from producers and consumers. This is the total amount of tax. And that is what government will make. But who pays this tax? HG from consumers. Where is it?
Up here.
HG from producers, HF from consumers. The total government is going to make is through this. In terms of tax. Do we get it? Do we get it or not? FHJE is our total government revenue, or total government revenue through tax. FHJE. FHJE is what FHGE is what government is going to make from revenue. This is paid by producers and consumers at HGHF. Is it clear? Is it clear or not, please?
Yes.
Then the total expenditure for consumers is OBCG. OBCG. This is the demand curve. OBCG is the total expenditure for consumers. This is what they are supposed to pay. But now they're going to pay OAEF. Put your hand up, please. O, A, E, F. This is what consumers are going to pay finally.
Yeah.
There's upward curve. There's upward movement in the demand curve from C to E. This implies to what consumers will pay because of the tax. Do we get it or I explain again?
We get it.
Do we get it or not?
Yeah, we get it.